Okay, I think we're working. Hey everybody, it's your buddy Mike Meyers with his every day at 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time, Ask Me Anything. So welcome once again. Let's see who we got in here today. Got a couple of some of the usual players here. Glad to see that. Anyway, today is an interesting day. I want to do some follow-up on the CompTIA online testing. We've actually been playing with it a little bit, and we've got a little more insight. Generally, the word is it's pretty good. So we'll start with that as a teaser. So first of all, the function of this particular stream is during the virus. Everybody's at home these days, and this is an opportunity for you to ask any questions you want, concentrating on the CompTIA A+, Net Plus, Security Plus, although we can spread out a little bit from there. This is your opportunity for those who are studying by yourselves, who need a little help. This is the great opportunity. Other than that, we've got all kinds of interesting topics. First of all, I want to say that anybody who is nice enough to be sitting in on this automatically gets 50% off all of our products at the Total Seminars website. I still don't trust all this technology. Maybe because I've been working with technology for so long. So anybody who's kind enough to be showing up, you get 50% off of all of our practice tests and simulations on the Total Seminars website. So all you got to do is look down here and take that link, and all you have to do is go to that link and then type in this code, and you will get 50% off of all of our practice questions and our simulations. I think my practice tests are some of the best practice tests in the country, and I'm pretty proud of them too. We've got a little bit more setup. We're getting more sophisticated all the time. I actually brought in a second monitor now, so if you keep watching me look to this side, so I'm actually reading your texts, and so that's working out real well. Scott Jernigan is here. See who's also is out here. TS, PZ, Skyler, Brandon Swenson, Tulawit, Philip D. Charmoy, Scott Jernigan, Nigel. Okay, so we got plenty of the usual suspects here, which is great. And anyway, so there's some pretty exciting stuff. I want to start off with probably the most exciting thing. Finally got myself a proper secondary webcam. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this as we start bringing in more and more stuff to look at. We've really been thinking about this a lot. And so no more potato cam. The potato cam is dead. So we're not going to have to worry about that anymore. Have a little sip of coffee. Yeah. So we've got one of these. I'm not even going to tell you. This is the Logitech. This is the, which one is this? The C920. Pretty common one, which normally retails for about 80 bucks. I paid 3 times that amount so I could get it on a timely basis. But we'll have this plugged in time, so next time we're doing other kind of stuff, and it's got all kinds of extra features on it, so I don't get potatoed out or over brightness. All it's going to get fixed. Very, very excited. Look at all this technology just coming down the pike. Also, keep in mind, if you are an instructor, Total Seminars is really opening all the doors for you. So if you're an instructor with an active class right now, CompTIA is prepared to help you with free access, absolutely free access to videos, practice questions, simulations, me, of course, but free access to me. That came out weird. Didn't mean it that way. Anyway, so all you got to do is contact Kathy Yale. There's her email address right there. Contact Kathy Yale from my office, and she will definitely help you out. And not only that, in certain circumstances, we're even in a situation, it's very tricky to do this, so I'm not going to make it sound easy, but in certain situations, we can even get you free ebooks. So I'm going to take a moment here and double check all my notations, make sure I didn't forget anything, because I get yelled at from my salespeople because I forget to see something. Oh yeah, I want to talk about vouchers today. I think you can really save a lot of money if you know how to get vouchers. So first of all, when you sign up to take almost any certification exam, but let's concentrate on CompTIA, you got to pay for them, okay? And that can get kind of spendy, especially if you have a double test exam like a double test certification, for example, like the CompTIA A+, which retail is in the United States is $226 per exam. So we're talking $452 just for the honor to try to take and hopefully pass the CompTIA A+. Now, there's some things you can do to knock that price down. The first thing you can do is that you can buy discount vouchers. Now, lots of people sell discount vouchers. We at Total Seminars sell discount vouchers at www.totalsem.com. And so you can check out our vouchers there. And that's going to save you. Now, different tests have different discounts, okay? But like on the CompTIA A+, each voucher is going to be, let me make sure I got this right, is going to be about $209, which is a lot cheaper than $226, which is the retail price. And then on top of that, CompTIA is now knocking an extra $5 off of that, which we can pass those savings on to you. So we can get it down to $104.99 per exam. So instead of paying, wait, that's not right. Oop, don't want to lie. $204. That would be nice. I'd love to sell them that cheap, but we can get it down to $204.99. So that's going to be saving you, more than 10% off of each exam. So definitely keep that in mind. And to do that, all you got to do is head over to the Total Seminars website, www.totalsem.com, and you can get cheap vouchers. Now, I don't know how long CompTIA is going to be knocking this price down, but it's only $5, $5 or $10 depending on the exam. But it's a good deal, especially if you're looking to schedule. This is probably a time for you to go ahead and buy those. Lots of people sell vouchers, but Total Seminars sells them, and you like me the absolute best, right, kids? Right. Okay, good. Okay, so we understand. Now, the thing about these vouchers is that normally when you go to a Prometric site, now whether you're actually logging in to go do an on-site test or if you're going to do the new online thing, there's a certain point where it asks you to pay money, Visa, MasterCard, and there's always a little extra thing in there where you type in a voucher number. So what you do is you buy the voucher from us and you get this big long number. That number is gold, folks. If anybody else gets that number, they can use your voucher for you, against you, however you want to look at that. And so it's really important that when you pay for the exam, you don't give them a credit card. You just enter this voucher number, you hit boink, and now you get the schedule the exam using the voucher that you paid much less for than retail price. So vouchers are important and certainly something you definitely want to be taken advantage of. Okay, so what else do we have to talk about today? Man, we got a lot of things. I feel like I'm going over stuff too fast. How am I doing, Scott? There we go. All right, big money. Hey, Architectural Controls, Elaine. Good to see you, babe. It's not really an AMA without Elaine here. Elaine, I'm working out the technology where I'm going to get you here in front of the camera. No, I don't want to fly you to Houston, although it wouldn't be the worst thing. So Elaine, be prepared. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get you online. Maybe, we can do a Zoom from the comfort of your home, and then we could talk. So I'm thinking about you. I'm getting so many questions about Cisco. And I can talk about some stuff, but Elaine, you're a lot better at it than me. So guys, be ready. I think we might have a Cisco-y kind of thing coming. Let me see what I can talk. I'm totally surprising her on this. She might just say, oh, heck no, but we'll see what she says. So anyway, let's get to, let's start talking about online questions. Like I promised yesterday, we at Total Seminars tried to do the online thing. I tried to get on early in the morning. It was a complete disaster. I couldn't even get on. I was getting 503 errors. But once I got on, it was actually kind of snappy, to be honest with you guys. So basically, you go through a little process. You type in the URL. Hey, Scott, do you have that URL handy again for everybody? I don't think it would be a terrible idea to put that back up one more time for to get on for the Prometric. Anyway, there are a couple of hoops you need to jump through, and I need to warn you guys about this. First thing it wanted is it wanted the CompTIA member username and password. And I don't know about you guys, but once you take your A+ and you get that username and password, I promptly forget about it every time. And I had to go through a little bit of pain and suffering to get that, but it did a good job. You know, did you forget your username, forget your password kind of thing, and it did okay there. So it worked out pretty good, but I had to jump through some hoops. Once I got that in there, then I had to go through the process of actually scheduling an exam. Oh, that's not true. The next thing I had to do is I had to go through like this pre-test thing where basically I downloaded like its own little proprietary web browser kind of thing, and it went through some serious hoops. So this is some serious stuff, guys. Number one, you have to have a driver's license or a passport. Got to have them. Again, this is US centric, so I don't know what's going to be happening around the rest of the world, but here in the US, you have to have a driver's license or a passport, and you have to take a picture of both sides of it. And yeah, Big Brother doesn't scare me at all. Jeez, giving away my driver's license online. Yeah, no problem. So that was a little bit terrifying. I had to actually take pictures. I had to take 4 pictures, and I did it in here, of this testing environment. And nobody said no, so I don't know, maybe this testing environment would be okay, even with all these pictures in the back. Not too sure exactly how that'll work, but I think it's more of a comparison. You have these pictures on file, and then you go ahead and take when you take the test, whoever's going to be proctoring you will compare all this. You have to take a picture of yourself, so there's a point where it's like, take a picture of yourself. It's like, so I took a picture of myself. So I guess there's a point where I'm going to sit down. They're going to have to hold my driver's license up to the screen, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's right. I was not able to actually take a test. The soonest I can take a test is next Monday. So that's not too bad. Anyway, there were a few things that I do want to talk about. In particular was some of the caveats of what you're giving away. So I want to talk about exactly what CompTIA says. Now, first of all, the important thing you have to understand is that somebody's going to be watching you. Someone's going to be listening to you, and I'm pretty sure you have to talk to that person as well. And they basically have where you sign your life away on this. I'm reading from the rule set. You understand, acknowledge, and agree that you have no right to privacy at your current location during the exam testing session, and you explicitly waive any and all claims asserting a right to individual privacy or other similar claims. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, but still, scary verbiage. Yeah, I'm one of the people who actually read these terms of service. By accessing this website and ticking this box, you signify your acknowledgement and agreement that any inappropriate or wrongful conduct, as determined in Pearson Views or the test proctor's sole discretion, witnessed while monitoring your testing session at your current location, will be reported to Pearson View, to the testing program sponsor, and may also be reported to the appropriate governmental authorities, including but not limited to law enforcement officials. So don't be doing anything illegal while you're taking a CompTIA exam, okay? Now, here's the other one that I really want you guys to pay attention to on this online stuff. This one makes me a little nervous. By accessing this website and clicking this box, you signify, it's actually you signify that you understand, acknowledge, and agree that if any third party, you ready, is detected as being present in your physical location, whether visible or not, or 2, overheard in any manner, whether physically detected through movement or making of noise, or through sounds irrespective of whether they are in your current location or not during your testing session, the test will be terminated and you will not receive any score, or in the event you've completed the test and received a score, your score may be invalidated or revoked. Not good. Further, you understand, acknowledge, and agree that if your testing session is terminated by this or any other reason, you will not receive a test fee refund, credit, or voucher. So make sure the dogs, the cats, your buddy Sandy who walks back and forth, anything, make them go away while you're taking an exam, because we had some of the folks at CompTIA. They were actually trying this, because remember, this is not a CompTIA product. It's CompTIA's test, but it's Pearson View's product. And things like having a secondary monitor plugged in. The guy would start taking a test and intentionally, this is like the CIO of CompTIA, and then plugged in a secondary monitor, boom, locked out instantaneously. So it's pretty serious stuff. Now, again, I haven't had an opportunity to take any actual CompTIA exams, so we're going to have to wait till Monday. I got one coming Monday morning. Will be my first opportunity to take an exam. We'll see what happens. I'm a little nervous, but better to find out with me and my money than with yours, huh? Fair enough? All right, so a couple of things that were discussed. I want to make sure we're very clear about this. Number one, the online test is a completely valid 100% CompTIA examination. All right, so you get the same amount of credit, you get the same pin on your chest as if you were actually taking the exam at a VUE testing center. So somebody had mentioned yesterday, would this dilute the exam? When I heard that term, I was under the impression that what they were asking is, if online testing becomes easy and lots of people do it, will it dilute an exam? Will it dilute a certification? Now, anytime, and we've seen this happen for the last 30 years, starting with Novell CNE or whatever it was back then, when you get a lot of certified people on a particular certification, it's easier to find people from an employer standpoint. And there have been situations, the old MCSE back in the late 90s, we had a situation like that. It could potentially happen. It's just we are in such a dearth situation with techs. I can't imagine that taking place anytime soon. I mean, but you know, anything could happen. So to me, I think we're fine. We're fine. Okay. So I think that covers the most important points on that. Scott will send up a text if I forget something here. All right, so also I know we got some more questions coming, not on this, but let me do a quick run. I know some of you guys had sent in some questions. I swear I'm going to get to them, but let me take a look at what we've got here. There's Elaine with her duck. Architectural controls. I have a dual band router. Is it a problem if I give both SSIDs the same name? It's not a problem. First of all, yeah, I guess, because I'm thinking about with the old 802.11n's where you would literally have one SSID which would run both on 2.4 and 5, and in those cases you intentionally did it. I would think it would be a terrible idea. I mean, if I'm running 802.11 AC, I want to be on your 5 gigahertz. So like here at here in my house, for example, I'll actually say like robot overlords 5, and then robot overlords 2.4. So that when you're coming on, now you'll see the SSIDs on your device, and if you've got a choice, you'll be able to see both. And I always want to be on 5 gigahertz whenever possible. So yeah, you could do it, but I'd recommend against it. Unless you're running 802.11n as a Nancy dual band, which a lot of people are still running. It works great. Just hope that you have people who actually have 802.11n NICs to take advantage of it. Vimal Lad, what is versions in the Mac operating system? To run the, you know, my nose doesn't itch until I get in front of the camera. I think there's something emanating from the camera that makes my nose itch. For the, to do it the online CompTIA testing, I just looked at that. I'm sorry, I don't remember the version number. Did Scott already put it in there? Scott, I'm going to put that on you. Can you look up that version number for Macs for the online testing? Brandon Swenson, what is Mike's thought on MikroTik routers and switches? How about wireless? You know, MikroTik, we don't use them. I'm not against them. I know a lot of people who use them and they speak highly of them. We've been using a lot of Ubiquiti stuff, which I know most people think is mainly wireless access points, but they also make a bunch of darn fine little routers too. So I just don't play with them. Same reason I don't play with Juniper. I'm just a Cisco guy. I'm not against Juniper. I've futzed around with a few, but you know, that's just where my heart is with Cisco in that particular department. How long is this voucher special for? Terrence Tech. We don't know. I don't remember. Let me see if Kathy Yale actually set a date on that. I don't think she did. It's all we have at this point is for a limited time. So, you know, these vouchers last for a year. I mean, if you can save $5 or $10 and you're going to pay for them anyway, jump on it, you know. No flying today. Okay, I'm not flying. Homer 1075. No, we couldn't actually take a test. We could schedule. I went ahead and scheduled a test for this Monday at around 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So I'll be through the test and we can talk about my experience. I will tell you, I was able to run a sample exam, and the interface, such as it was like a little one-question exam, very much felt like the traditional CompTIA A plus Net plus security interface. So that could be a good sign. Tyler Gillette, MTCNA or CCNA? Yeah, I'm with Nigel on that one. I'm all about CCNA myself. And the other nice part is, you know, CCNA really, you know, everybody recognizes Cisco really, really well. And Brandon Swenson's absolutely right. You will be a Cisco guy even if you don't use Cisco products. I mean, probably one of the best examples of that is the Certified Wireless Network Professional certifications, the CWNP. When you go in for those certs, they just assume you know Cisco. They just assume it, and they build from there. Only the proles and animals are free. Oh, goodness. See, once again, it's just, me and my scrolling problem. Sorry, guys. Bear share, Napster. Brandon, how old are you? You don't even remember that stuff. Justin Kinsey, ouch, yeah. Which test am I taking? I'm going to actually take the 220-1001. Gulam Sarway, give us a good discount. I did. Check out. There you go. Scott Jernigan's all over this. I don't even have to worry. Scott Jernigan, you're the best, brother. You're the best. Debbie Strauch, good afternoon. Okay, Debbie's here, so we have a quorum. All right. Actually, I'm under the impression that you better not go to the bathroom. You know, you're going to have, if you get up, they're going to get really, really upset. So, you know, be careful with that. Do I have a big house? I have almost 1,800 square feet. You call that big? I don't call it big. It's a townhouse. I mean, I don't have any windows on the sides of my house, and I just basically turned the entire first floor into a big kitchen and then this room. So you almost have a feel of my entire house just by looking at these two right here. Oh my goodness. Justin Kinsey, I thought there was something about you I liked, that you love ubiquity. Me too, my brother. Me too. All right. Andrew Hutz, is this general Q&A or specific topic? Andrew, at this point in the game, I think we're going to try to start using Mondays as specific topics. We'll build on that, but right now, Monday's going to be specific topic. It really depends on how many questions you guys ask that require a lot of development. I mean, we can do 5 days a week of specific topics if you guys want, but right now I'm looking at just Mondays. Everything else is going to be general Q&A, or the other thing that's going to be coming up is when there's interesting topics. Like right now, obviously, the CompTIA online testing is a big deal, and man, I got to tell you, if I were you guys, I'd really appreciate somebody like me test driving this system before you guys laying down any cash. It's Yeah, it's a little scary, especially all the caveats and everything you sign your life away on this for. Syed Jawad oh, I remember you guys. Hey, good to see you again. Can you please tell us about the CompTIA online exam? Sure. Dang, I threw away my PowerPoint from yesterday. I'm actually a little upset I did that now. You know what? Let me see if I can bring that back up real quick for you. 1 second, please. I can't. Sorry. But I can pull it up for myself so I can read it. Okay, so number one, just so the big stuff here. This is just for you, man. Number one, online testing has launched. See if Scott Jernigan can throw in the link to get online with the online testing through CompTIA. It's 24/7 scheduling, 24/7 testing. Although I got to tell you, when I was on there to check, I had to pick a time. Like the earliest time I could get was 5:15 in the morning. So it might be very U.S. centric right now. I don't know. We'll see how that works. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to sign up. You'll download a proprietary browser that locks your system down. You go through some hardware testing to make sure you've got a microphone, you got a webcam. The webcam has to be able to turn one way or another because the proctor is going to want to look around. Then on top of that, it's the same test, the same database, same interface, same prices, same certification, but it's pretty much straightforward there. You need to have Windows 8.1, Windows 10. We talked about the version of Mac like 8 times. I can see on there. We got that covered. All right. You have to have a good internet connection. They're asking for a 1 megabit per second download, which I know these days doesn't sound like that much, but for somebody like me who lives in the middle of a city, it's no big deal. For somebody out in the middle of nowhere, that could be an issue. Even little things like, for example, if your internet goes down while you're testing, hey, too late for you, buddy. So there's really a lot of stuff that puts the onus on you. They're very specific about the location. Quiet room. They'd like to, any items on the wall with writing will be inspected. You're going to have to show your ID. Here in the United States, it has to be a driver's license or a passport. I'll bet a passport's going to be pretty universal. So you go through all this, you test your hardware, you take pictures of yourself, you take pictures of your identification, you take 4 pictures of the testing area, and then you submit all that. And the other thing is that it's pretty much available almost everywhere. I did not keep that one. Oh, I did. All CompTIA certifications will be available except CTT+. Exams are not available in Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Sudan, Syria, Japan, Slovenia, China, and South Korea. Hopefully I didn't hit one of yours. The proctors only speak English. So you can take the test in your native language, but the proctors only speak English. So that could be an issue. I'm sure they'll improve on that as time progresses. So that's a quick review of the actual tests themselves. I hope that helps you, brother. Ooh, so many questions. All right, I'm going to catch a few more, but I do have a couple of questions that were asked. I received emails. I want to get these. So, Kelly Eglin, what's the best route to go if I want to do programming? Is the network engineering in school the way to go? For cert's the right way to go. You want to go for a classic computer science degree. I mean, most programmers that I'm aware of today go for a 4-year, here in the United States, 4-year bachelor's degrees in computer science. Computer science is, in my opinion, a programming degree. And it's not the only way to go, but it's probably, here in the States, the way you'd want to go more than anything else. There are homegrown coders, but it can be a tough way to go. Andrew Hutz, Mike, I'm helping a friend choose 2 desktops. He's looking for standard thick and wants to spend as little as possible. Yeah, I know. Small PCs are great. Just minis, you know, you're talking like the mini ITX, the super small form factors. They're super. You're going to be a little pinned down by amount of RAM you can add usually. A lot of them only have like 2 physical slots. A lot of them have soldered CPUs, which is something you need to think about. And graphics power. You can get little boxes that actually have PCIe on them. But again, a lot of times they have proprietary power supplies that make it hard to push your graphics card. So yeah, I mean, you're talking about standard web browsing and such, even basic gaming. You know, if you keep your gaming simple, the onboard graphics on most Intel and AMD processors today, they work pretty good. Now, if you want to start getting hairy, you might want to look at something else. But other than that, I think you're absolutely fine. Oh, it's for his chiropractor business. I guess I should read the next one. It probably means you're going to be running some chiropractor software or something like that. You're going to be fine, dude. You're going to have too much power as it is. The only thing I would think about too is you ought to consider wired connections, especially if it's going to be like in an office, a chiropractor's office. I love wireless. I live on wireless all the time, but like this connection I'm talking to you on, I don't dare move it right now, but I'm cabled. Kelly Eaglin, I'm doing school for network engineering now. Is that good? Well, Kelly, do you want to be a network engineer or do you want to be a coder? They're very, very different things. I'm not going to say exactly what the rule sets are, but if you want to be a coder, you ought to really look at computer science. Scott Hockhauser. God, I hope I'm not mauling that name. Do not talk to yourself during the exam. Probably not a bad idea. But keep in mind what they said on the rules was third party. So I don't know if talking to yourself would be that big of a deal. Don't bring the proctor's attention to you is probably the most important rule there is. CASP plus vouchers. No, we do not have CASP plus vouchers right now. Sorry about that. And I can't even point you to another person who does. My apologies. Patrick Velas. Mike, what is the general path after A+? All right, well, there is no, there is no law, right? You know, it's de facto, not de jure, as we say. Man, why does your name look so familiar to me, dude? Oh, well. Scott H. You to me? Okay, whatever. Anyway, back to you, Patrick. You know, one of the nice things about these more entry-level certifications like IT Fundamentals, A+, Net+, and to a lesser degree Security Plus, is it starts to help you get an idea of, you know, what do you want to do in this big old world called IT. And so basically most people consider it IT Fundamentals, A+, and then Network Plus as the most fundamental certifications. And from there, it really starts, you got to start saying, what do you want to do? I mean, do you want to start working with routers? Then maybe you need to look at Cisco. You want to become a system administrator? Then maybe you need to be looking at Microsoft. You want to start getting up on the cloud? Then maybe you need to look at VMware or AWS or to a lesser degree Azure certifications. You know, you got to start, you got to just tell me where you want to go. You know, what turns you on about technology? If you want to sit here and, you know, snap RAM into laptops all day and there is honor in that, you'll probably never need to go past A+. But, you know, as an IT person, one of the things we do is that, you know, in casual conversation, everybody's always talking about, you know, what are they looking at next? We're always looking at what's next. And I don't like what I call flatliners, people who don't pursue ongoing certification. It just kind of shows that you're not hip. You're not staying with, what's happening technology-wise, that type of thing. So anyway, I hope that gives you an answer and a half. All right, so I'm going to pull up one of the questions I got. I'm so glad I had this ready because I did have it ready. And I can't find it. All right, so this came from a person who has time to time been online here and is also a first-time caller, long-time listener. All right. And so this person has a Bachelor of Science degree from University of Phoenix, and they're having some trouble finding a job. They sent me a resume, and the trick is why am I not getting a job? So here's the first thing I'm going to ask you more than anything else is, and this is the big one, are there jobs in your community? This particular person is in the smallest of towns, and it would seem to me that there would probably be jobs. Are you pooching your technical interview? That could be a big problem. The other thing that I might mention is that employers don't like to see entrepreneurs. As an employer, if I see self-employment on your resume, that's often a red flag for me, and that's something I tend to want to avoid. Now, there's ways to paint around that. For example, you can use a company name and just say you are a technician at that company. Yeah, you may own that company, but you don't want to lie. But on the same token, you want to be careful about putting entrepreneurship on a resume because it scares people because they think that you're going to steal the information they have and then go hang your own shingle. The other big thing I run into is people start creating limitations that they don't need to. It's like, well, I can only work 6 hours a day. I can never work a Saturday. You start creating restrictions and things like that that make you less attractive than the other person who has the same skills who doesn't have that restriction. I don't want to use my car. There's a lot of things like that come into play. The other one, and I got to be honest, and I'm not saying this is you, mystery person, but nerds are just terrible at physical presentation. I can tell you how many times I've seen somebody that's like, get a haircut, and just because you look like Dwight Schrute, it just makes me nervous, Get a haircut, wear halfway decent clothes. I can't tell you many times I used to interview people back in the day when people wore suits, and I'd see guys come in, they still have tags on their suits and things like that. Brush your teeth, use deodorant. So mystery person, if I have answered your question, that's great. If not, send me another email and we can develop that a little bit more. But to me, anybody who has a Bachelor of Science degree, University of Phoenix is a fine program. People get hired from that all the time. People tend to poo-poo some of these private schools. University of Phoenix, ITT Technical Institute, stuff like that. People get hired all the time. They're fine schools and they're well accredited and well accepted. So don't use that. All right. So I know I was going to get through one of these. I got another one, but let me get through those. Average guru. You're an average guru. I like that. I have my Security Plus and Net Plus. I want my A Plus. Are the stackable certs worth anything? Yeah, I think they're fine. I'm not against them. I'm not sure what you're going to ask with that question. I tend not to go with them myself because I just like to knock the certs out, but I'll let you, maybe you can develop that question for me. How am I coping with COVID-19? I don't know. I'm great. I haven't been out of my house in a day and a half. I'm sorry. I haven't been out of my house in 2.5 days. Every now and then I reach out and grab a FedEx box or a Instacart or whatever. That's about it. Scott Jernigan, did you like my technical difficulty screen? I thought that was very funny. I just threw that in as a goof. Gives me a chance to really rub my nose without you guys seeing me. Justin Kinsey, CompTIA Online requires Windows 10 only OS. Justin, yeah, I see Scott's already responded to that. That is not the information we got yesterday. So we've only tested on Windows 10, but theoretically, as Scott says, Windows 8.1 and Mac 10.13 as well. Yeah, to be honest with you, if I was going for a mini PC, I'm with Brandon. I would not go with an Intel branded one right now. Dell almost always has one. In fact, you should check out the Dell refurbished site. The Dell refurb site, I don't remember the exact URL, just type in Google Dell refurbished. And it's basically what's for sale today. You got to know your hardware, and they have tons of stuff in there. Just darn good to borderline outrageous deals, full warranties, late model stuff, scratch and dents, returns, things like that. And if you're buying Dell anyway, it's such a great place to go for that kind of stuff. It's also a great opportunity to build your own system. I don't know where you live, but like here in Houston, Texas, you know, we've got Micro Center, and unfortunately it seems to be feding, but Fry's Electronics. And between either of those, we can, you know, get all the parts we want, and you know, it's fun to put your own computers together. You know, throw some EL wire in there, get some lights going. That's fun. A little RGB. You know. Bum, 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 bum. Debbie Strouch, do you think Pearson VUE will still do online testing June 27th? Sure. Oh, now, Debbie, you got to be careful. Just because they're doing online, that doesn't mean the testing centers are still up and running. I know a lot of them have closed down because of the virus, but in no way does online testing replace going to a testing center. So you should always have both of those options. Yeah, integrated webcam is fine. If I don't have a webcam, can I use my phone and point it to me? Pretty sure you cannot do that. You're not allowed to have a phone within they don't want to see a phone anywhere near you while you're testing, so I'm pretty sure that would not be the case. Or you can just go out and get a webcam. In fact, I'll sell you this webcam right here for only $400. Mm-hmm. Did you guys hear about the fellow in Australia who was trying to return all the toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and they're basically like, forget you, buddy. I'm like, good for them. Yeah, Justin Kinsey, you're using Linux, you're in trouble there, brother. Whoa, lots of questions. I'm going to get used to this browser one day. Oh, goodness, a lot of questions. Sorry, guys. I always worry I'm not going to have enough questions. We have plenty. James Wareham. Hey, Mike, working through your A+ book at the moment, and I have to say I really enjoy the format in which you lay things out, fun and informative. Hope you're staying safe. Right back at you, buddy. You know, I started writing these books a billion years ago, mainly because I wanted to write a book that would be the kind of book that I'd want to learn from. And, you know, when I first started writing books, it was like, you know, hi, I'm Timmy the Mouse. Or it was, you know, TTL logic and gates and all that, which are all fascinating things, don't get me wrong, but, you know, everybody's got the different, what I call the black box, and that is how far down you want to go within the scope of the knowledge to satisfy yourself technically. And I mean, if you wanted me to, we could go down to the, you know, silicon semiconductors, but maybe you and I would like it, but I would bore everybody else and I wouldn't sell any books. So I work really hard at that. The other thing I work really, really hard at is, to me, a book should have a narrative. I don't care whether it's a textbook or a novel. And I work hard to create some form of narrative, at least within individual chapters, so that it reads well. And I want to pull you from one point to the next so that I hold your interest. You know, most of my books are written at as low as an 8th grade reading level, which is a little frustrating for me sometimes. But you know, people need a story. People have been telling me now for over 20 years that paper books are dead, and I am selling more paper books today than I ever have in my entire life. So there you go. E-books are, a minority, a double-digit minority, but a minority of my books. People still love paper books, and so do I. I mean, look behind me. Yay! Andrew may Dev Mountain and Galvanize Hack. You are now. I do not know this language of which you speak, so I'm going to just defer to you. Would I drink water during exam time? I wouldn't. Smaller PCs do have airflows. Sure, they do. So don't cover it with a bunch of books in the back of your desk. Tolowit, you're in Honolulu? I used to teach at Schofield Barracks at Pearl Harbor for years. It was always hilarious. I loved teaching there because even though it was an active base, because I was a civilian vendor, all the guys could come in, and gals, could come in wearing civilian clothes, and I would play I Can Guess What Branch You're In just by, the haircut, how they bend their hats, how they sat in a chair. I could get it 99 times out of 100. Timothy Bennett, have you played the Star Wars version of Age of Empires, Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds? Didn't even know such a thing existed. Now, I'm still banging my head on Space Engineers. That's a wildly complicated game, which is kind of cool, but on the same token, it can get a little frustrating. Scott Hockhauser, you have the name correct. Guess the clown suit is out for drawing attention. Okay. Andrew Seed, yo, Andrew. Homer, Mike, have you had a chance to look into the Microsoft role-based certs? No, not really. I mean, I've looked at some of the Azure ones, which is, I think, what we're talking about here. And, they look pretty good. They say they're killing MCSE, and technically they're killing MCSE, but they're not. I mean, the same skill sets are showing up on the Azure certs, are just doing it on the cloud. So I'm not sure why they did that, but I don't have detailed information. If you have a specific question you want to ask me about, I can do more R&D. I certainly know some folks over at Microsoft Certifications I could talk to directly, but give me an idea of exactly what you're looking for. What Microsoft certifications do you need to be a system administrator? None. You don't need any certifications at all. Pass a good technical interview showing that you have the skills to, deal with a Active Directory and messing with domain controllers, configuring NTFS permissions for broad cross-section of complicated usernames, understand your, forest from the trees, and you can get that. Really, with MCSE disappearing, okay, now you guys are going to put me in a corner. What are people going to be looking for certification-wise for system administration? I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that more. Scott, please remember we can look into that a little bit more. That's an interesting, Tolowit, maybe you could do a Monday YouTube session on an overview of careers. Dude, so a little over 10 years ago, Microsoft, through the federal government, got this huge grant, and CompTIA got a chunk of it, where they did this massive job task analysis of all that is IT and came up with 1,300 or 1,400 functional groups of the different types of jobs out there. I mean, I guess I could cut it down a little bit for you. Yeah, but that'd take a whole hour, man. It's a big world out there, to say the least. Thank you, Tolowet. I always appreciate good ideas like that. So, Gino. Hey, Gino, what's happening there? Since CompTIA is considered vendor neutral, what's covered on the Server Plus certification? It's very vendor neutral stuff. I mean, we're talking more about, you're going to do RAID out the wazoo, talking about redundancy functions, talking about a lot of the physical server functionalities, multiprocessor systems. There's a lot of overlap in like Net Plus and things like that in terms of ports and functions like that. There's more, but that gives you a rough idea. Yeah, they don't have like Dell lights out functions or any of the vendor specific tool sets. Good Lord, it's 2:50 already? You guys, man, so many great questions. Gulam Sarway, I tried to purchase the simulation lab. It says apply coupon or promo code. Scott, can you throw Kathy Yale's email down there one more time just for Gulam so that he has a way to talk to? We're not technical support. Not even close on our own system, but sorry about that. We'll make sure you're taken care of, though, I guarantee. Andrew Hutz, speaking of putting self-employment on a resume, is there a difference between putting down that you did freelance work and that you... Well, freelance is entrepreneurial, right? Again, don't necessarily sit there and say owner. Don't say entrepreneur. Just say I work for blah, blah, blah company. I'm assuming you have a DBA, doing business as. I got Antsy Man Productions as my DBA when I want to, charge stuff. You just tell what your job function was. And technician, you don't have to lie. You don't have to necessarily exactly tell the truth on resumes. People want to know what your skill sets are. Yeah, I am going insane with the stay-at-home stuff. I don't do well. I'm designed to be surrounded by lots of people doing lots of people things. Being by myself doesn't work real well. Miss Sandy is helpful, but she's working and she's got to do her own stuff. Oh, by the way, Miss Sandy's my roommate, okay? Platonic. And also a crackerjack coder too. Sandy does work with very, very large databases and can pull all kinds of interesting SQLs commands out of massive, massive databases. If it ain't a petabyte, she don't care about it. But yeah, no, it's not fun. We do like using Zoom for happy hours and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'm glad we're not getting sick. The COVID's a serious thing. I know that, but yeah, it's hard. I got to tell you guys, I'm glad that I'm helping y'all, but I got to be honest with you, in a lot of ways you're helping me, especially having folks like Elaine in here and folks I know well, Scott Jernigan, of course, and a lot of you guys whose names I'm starting to know, anywhere from Homer to Brandon and lots of Paul Murphy and all that. It really does help me too. I usually go back and we'll rewatch these videos just to see what kind of questions are coming up and stuff like that. And yeah, for a social extrovert person like me, this stinks, to say the least. I have Miss Sandy who shows up, but and Sandy's pretty much sticking around. But yeah, the only person I've actually spoken to face to face is Sandy and a couple other folks for a couple of weeks now. All right. Shiva Kandel, hi, can you tell me the difference between measured service and metered service on cloud computing? Nope. I could speculate some BS, but I think I'd rather give you a better answer than that. Did Scott Jernigan throw something in on that one? Oh gosh, is Nancy Meadows on here? Nancy, are you on there? Send me a text. So a lot of the artwork you see, I just put this down, is from my friend Nancy Meadows. So she pops in every now and then. Nancy's a fine, fine artist. Okay, man, we're running out of time. How does this happen, you guys? Mike, ISC squared, cloud cert, or hands-on to keys with AWS at, what's more in demand? Ooh. That's a tricky one. I'd go with AWS, Azure. Most of the ISC squared stuff is usually their cloud cert to me is an intermediary cert for some of their higher stuff, which would be more of a management governance kind of a thing. Whereas AWS Azure is, real hands-on cloud. So it's a matter of really where you want to go. This is a big problem. In fact, this leads into what I think it was Homer who was saying earlier. We should talk about the different jobs out there. The other problem we run into is the different certifications. As you start moving into certifications in particular, there are like 5 or 6 competing bodies for security certification. This is not necessarily AWS Azure, but when I see ISC squared, I think security. And you got to be really careful about where you want to be when you grow up, because you start marching up these certification paths within these individual organizations. To jump ship and then start over can be wildly expensive. I can do a big talk about this in Security Plus. Hey, Scott, let's write that down. Maybe that'd be another kind of an interesting topic is, okay, so you really want to get in IT security. What are some of the pitfalls? And the certification paths can be a very expensive nightmare if you don't get that right. Alan Dugan. So, Alan, first of, my Lord, every time I think I'm hitting all the questions. Elaine, thank you so much for answering some of those questions. I'm not going to be able to get to as many as I want to today. Andrew Hutz here in the Philly area. I used to live in Allentown. Zachariel, so now I have to wait indefinitely to get certification. No, sir, man, you should have been here when we first started. We're talking about all the online testing and stuff like that. CompTIA online testing is here. So I'll tell you what, if you come back tomorrow and ask, I'll do another quick overview of it. But we've talked about it twice today, so I don't want to do it a third time. Guys, please do remember that anybody who's showed up today, just because you're kind enough to show up, we are offering the Total Seminars practice tests and simulations for 50% off. So all you got to do is look below here and then type in, Scott's going to type in the code. Type in this code. When you check out, you get everything we have for 50% off. Also, do remember, if you are an instructor who has an active CompTIA course right now, Total Seminars is just about giving it away to you and your students. What an opportunity. So in order to take advantage of that, you're going to have to contact Kathy Yale from our offices. Scott's going to type in Kathy Yale's email address and just contact her directly. And by the way, don't try to be clever. And if you're not an active instructor, Kathy's like an expert at this. So don't try to pull the wool over eyes. It will not work. How are we doing on time? All right, let's see if I can get one more question or maybe 2 in here. So no, Zach, you do not have to wait. You can start online testing. You can be certified on Monday if you signed up today. Andrew Seed, I'm using VM for Linux. I think that's probably the main reason. When I teach virtual machines, like people's first exposure to virtual machines, I invariably load a Linux operating system in there, usually Ubuntu. And it's just that it's a great way to motivate people for VMs. So good, man. Well done. Paul Murphy, you saw people in the background to the side. Not today. Miss Sandy has been known to slide by from time to time, but right now it's just me. Okay. Moses Park. Hey, Moses. Why does the OSI model need both MAC address and IP address? Because MAC addresses and IP addresses do very, very different things. A MAC address is a hardware-based address that's burned into every network interface card on Earth, and you can't really change it. You can spoof a MAC address, but you can't really. You can kind of change it. There's a way to do it. And an IP address is a completely different system. I'll tell you what, Moses, come back tomorrow and re-ask that question, and I'll have a big speech on why MAC addresses exist and why IP addresses exist from a very existential kind of standpoint. All right, here, last question, whatever it is. I know that some companies use a lot of proprietary parts. Does Dell tend to do that? Because if not, that reverb site might be a good place. Yeah, Dell definitely does. There's some proprietary stuff. I know that Dell's mini computers are Micro ITX, Mini ITX, I forget which one it is, which is, pretty standard form factor these days. What Dell will get you on more than anything else is that like the pinouts for the P1 connectors for power supplies can be proprietary, which kind of locks you into Dell power supplies, but it's still a PCIe slot. It's still DDR4 or whatever it might be. The holes are right, will fit into a box. But you're right, Dell will get you from time to time with proprietary unless you're checking it out. So do a little R&D on it. All right. Good Lord, it's 3 o'clock already. How did this happen? How do you guys do this to me every time? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for showing up to the Mike Meyers Ask Me Anything. We've got some great information in here today. If I did not get to your question, I apologize. I see there's a few more. Please just come back and I will answer your question tomorrow. We've got lots of interesting stuff to talk about. Also keep in mind that this Friday is our giveaway, which we'll be giving away something good. Don't know what it is yet. So we'll always have a nice giveaway on Fridays. This upcoming Monday, we're going to be talking about anti-malware. If you have a particular anti-malware you like and you want me to talk about it, you might want to text it or put it online through the live chat right now. You can email it to me. Oh, by the way, that's the one other thing I want to do real quick. Guys, this is my personal information. So if you need to get a hold of me, this is the way to do it. That is my office number. I do give away my cell phone number, but I'd like to know you a little bit first. If you need to get a hold of me, the first email address is my work address. My second one is my private personal address. You can use either one, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing a whole lot of gaming these days, but if you want to steam with me, I'm on Senior Pepe. And when in doubt, DesWeds. I mean, anything, does Mike use Skype? Check out DesWeds. Does Mike use Zoom? Check out DesWeds. I mean, whatever you need to do, that is always the place to go. Whew, what a day, man. I'm a little tired. I'm going to have another sip of coffee. And I'm going to tell you guys, thanks again so much for showing up. Again, I apologize. I never get to all the questions. I like to, but I never can. Please come back tomorrow. I'm on every Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time to answer any of the questions you have on the CompTIA examinations, and we can go outside of that as well. Again, thank you so much for coming. And until tomorrow, 2 o'clock, later.